Good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Today I'm at Valle View Reserve. This is actually my second visit. It's a fairly small kind of wet woods, wetland habitat situated right next to the Beaver Creek that's right behind me here. And so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. In that first visit, I noticed this tree in particular that I'm looking at now. I have my camera and lens pointed at, straight at. And it really caught my eye. I love trees with lots of kind of angular, kind of irregular shapes and designs, I guess, to them. And this one just really had a lot of character, so I was really looking forward to finally taking a photograph of it, at least coming back, subsequently, and seeing what maybe could be a resulting image I get from it. So that's where I am here. As you can tell, it's kind of getting a little less than golden hour light by now, since the sunrise is now really getting up in the sky there. But I've been really noticing, as I kind of waited here for about 5 or 10 minutes now, I'm just being real patient. I'm not really in a hurry to take an image, even though I'm set up to right now. I got my exposure and everything, all the settings dialed in. But I'm just kind of watching how the light plays onto this subject, and I'm really seeing the longer I wait, it's almost better. And for this particular shot, at least where I'm set up here at this angle, because you just see how the light, as it gets higher in the sky with the sun, really hits the top of the tree branches, particularly on this right side over here. So that's something I just really been paying attention to a lot more, I think, just taking my time with this, slowing down and thinking about my composition overall, and seeing really what could result of it, which I feel like is really important, especially when it comes to landscape photography or woodland photography, and yeah, all that sort. So I might as well talk through my settings while I'm here. So I was opting for a 24mm, a wide angle perspective, but that just looked too wide, and it encompasses too much of the landscape to the point where the subject really was not quite there. It was hard to see. While the subject was centered in the frame, in my case, it just did not look quite as good, simply because it just had too much going on that could be distracting, mainly in the background, but even the foreground. And so it was a no-go. So I switched out my lenses to a 50mm prime lens, which I feel like is going to look a lot better in this case. That is like the just right focal length that I feel like is going to make this shot hopefully it work, I think. So I'm going to try out that. So I am at 13th of a second, f10. F10 is just kind of a nice even range, because it will be more of a landscape shot, but it's going to be a little bit more compressed, or at least to the naked eye look natural, but it's going to be more compressed than a wide angle shot, of course. And ISO 200, just because there's plentiful light coming in from, I guess in this case, this subject would be basically a case study on side lighting, or at least in this case, yeah, because it's angled off to the right side with the sun over here, of course. So yeah, I'm gonna take probably a handful of exposures here and just mess around with it. There's really no other angles I think I would really take this shot from. It's because what happens is this reserve is kind of in a loop trail. It's not a big loop trail. It's probably about maybe 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles. Not too sure, honestly. But it loops around. So I'm on this one, and you can't really see it from over here, but you can kind of gauge it if you've been here before. There's another one all the way down over there, and it just loops around the entire reserve. So it's not a big place, but it is a very nice place, especially for bird watching. And in this case, I'm going to take this tree landscape shot. Basically, it's a nice quiet place. It's situated next to a busy highway that way, but like I said, you do get some very scenic views of the Beaver Creek right here. But right now it's all frozen up because it is pretty darn cold. It's almost single digit temps, honestly. So yeah, it's a nice place, nice quiet place. Doubt anyone else would be here, so I get pretty much the morning to myself, and to take my time and hopefully create some beautiful photographs. So yeah. Whew. Waking up early though it's tiring, just waking up early. So. And on that note, let's go ahead and take this shot here and see what the day brings. So I'm really looking forward to it, and yeah, we'll see what happens here. I will also say I opted for using a lens hood just because that side lighting might produce sun flare. It just might, so it's better to be on the side of caution and just use one simply if you have one available. But I fortunately do for pretty much all my lenses, so yeah, it really helps out, I think, overall. But actually I'm situated, the way the sun's positioned right now, I got this tree right in front of me, off to my right side here that kind of blocks out the sun's view. But like I said, there are some stray, light flares that could, or sun flares that would kind of obstruct the view, I guess, and create flaring up and the little sunspots and everything, which generally is undesirable for most people, I think, in their photographs. And I simply don't want to mess with it, because then that just means I'll have to clone them out later in post-production, and that's just more time in front of the computer, and I just don't want to deal with it. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. So I took a handful of shots here. I opted to also bracket, just simply feeling like that might be better in this case for what I'm going after. And so I was varying my shutter speed. Mainly when I bracket, I just vary my shutter speed. I don't mess around with the aperture or ISO. I don't stop down the lens or stop, raise up stops of light. Simply, so I was actually pretty good about it, I think. I was about 1/10 of a second, and I did a 1/13 of a second, 15th of a second. But I'll probably just do two brackets, I think. That's usually what most of my bracketed HDR shots are, is just one for exposing the sky detail if it's too bright and there's plentiful sunlight like there is now, and the rest of it, basically the rest of the frame, and mainly the foreground, middle and back. So yeah, looks pretty good, I guess. Overall, I guess we'll see when I edit on the computer. So I'm not like 100% confident it's gonna be like a really amazing shot, but it may, maybe with some post-production, not that I'm saying I could save it, but it might just oomph the colors, I guess, and we'll see how it looks, I guess, overall. So yeah, probably take a couple more shots here, and we'll probably continue on our little hike for the morning here out in the snow. So I found myself on some unsteady terrain here. I'm not even sure if I'd really recommend doing this. It's probably not the most smart thing. I already put a big crack right there. But yeah, I got myself just suspended over this thick sheet of ice along the Beaver Creek here. I got the camera propped up. I had the same lens choice. I might switch it out. I might even do like something with a macro kind of style photograph here, but I'm just really liking this vegetation that's like shallow but frozen, just like a sheet of frozen ice right over top of it, but it's visible to the outside, I guess, from where I am. So yeah, it looks really, really cool, and I like it. So it's something a little bit different, something much more intimate, and like I said, more of maybe like a macro perspective, we'll say. But yeah, I'm really thinking maybe I should take it before this thing just cracks and I fall in the ice and water, because that would be no fun considering how cold it is. But yeah, so yeah, questionable conditions. Don't try this at home or outdoors, and so I'm going to take this resulting image as safely and as best as I can. So I'll get back to you in a moment. I will say the nice thing about this is that the sun, while it's still getting higher and higher in the sky, is that it's actually not really affecting this resulting image here, just because I am deeply enshadowed here, and pretty much the sun's being obscured by all the trees around me. So it's making the shot pretty effective, I think. It's just adding enough light to be, I guess, supplemental and to, well expose the scene. But then again, nothing's moving, of course, so I can actually use a pretty slow shutter, like I am at 1/3 of a second here, which is pretty slow, I would consider. But like I said, mounted on a tripod, of course, and with a 2-second timer, just makes it work out. So I'm actually keeping relatively the same settings I used even for that tree shot over there. I'm at about f10, just because I'm finding with the depth of field, I'm trying to get a top-down shot, so that way I don't introduce depth of field distance issues in the frame. So I'm trying to get as much of a top-down perspective as I can. It's not entirely perfect where it's like a 90-degree angle, but I feel like it will work in this case. And then ISO 200, so nice and simple. I may still switch out for macro, I don't know yet, but I'm really liking these 50 millimeter perspective and focal length shots here overall. So it's worked out pretty well. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this time out, photographing all these weird different kind of landscapes and stuff. It's really been nice and refreshing, at least for here in the winter time, of course. So yeah, I think from here I'm just gonna keep going along the trail. I'm about almost halfway, I'll say 1/3 of the way done, going along the snow covered path, and then yeah, we'll call it quits for the day. But there's still quite a bit more to see, so I'm gonna hold my breath, and we'll see what else lies out there. still not sure if that was really a good move on my part, just because I don't know. It could have definitely turned out kind of ugly real quick by, you know, the ice cracking, and I'd fallen, you know, maybe it'd risk my camera gear hitting the ice, you know, breaking a lens, or, you know, probably at the worst, but fortunately I'm not at a spot or a location that's really big, is that I'd fallen and, you know, that however freezing cold that water is would just soak me, at least my lower torso, and that would be a not really comfortable drive home, which fortunately I don't live too far away from here, but that would just not be a good idea at all, and so that really turned things south real quick. So yeah, unfortunately nothing really bad happened, but I'm not sure if I really say I'd regret doing that, because the photographs do look pretty cool and something a little bit different, you know, different style, I guess, from what I'm used to or what I've been doing lately, you know. So yeah, it is what it is, but, you know, just don't follow the example, I guess. Sometimes I do the wrong thing, maybe, or just something that's not really as smart as it could be. So anyways, I'm looking out over here. As you can tell, the highway and the bridge is just behind me over there, and the Beaver Creek, and so I'm making my way pretty much at the halfway point as I move around this reserve here. Like I said, it's pretty small overall, which is okay since it is very cold out. And so yeah, I feel like I'm gonna go home with some good shots, I think, overall, some different stuff, and I'm always glad to get some more winter time landscape shots, and even some closer up, more intimate, kind of almost abstractions, I guess, and texture shots, which are always some of my favorites to take overall. Just nice. So yeah, it's been a nice morning out, and the lighting, it's not really as beautiful as it was when I started, but, you know, it's still pretty heavenly glow, I guess, and so yeah, it's pretty nice. So I'm gonna keep going here and see really what I can find. Alright everyone, that's going to conclude today's video. I just want to say thank you so much for the continued support and for watching all these videos and exploring with me, I guess. And so it's been a great day out, great morning, got a few landscape shots I'm really happy about, I think, and I can't wait to edit and share with you here in this video. So thank you so much everyone. This has been Valle View Reserve, and until next time, make sure to get out here. Thank you.